So Volkswagen had paused production of their id.buzz for 4 days, and the rumor is this might be heralding the cancellation of the product as a whole. Welcome back to All Cars Reacts to the news today, and the Buzz is cool. If you've never seen one in person, I highly encourage you to go look at it because it looks way better than it does even in pictures. It's a cool vehicle, but it represents compromises VW had to make years ago while they were designing it that don't hold up in today's marketplace. And it really boils down to one factor: cost. So let's unpack this a little bit. Automotive News broke the news a couple of days ago that they were pausing production, VW was, at their Hanover factory for 4 days through actually today, the 24th of October. I guess production is going to pick back up on Monday. But the reason is because sales have never lived up to projections. That factory is capable of building 130,000 a year, but globally, in 2024 and 2023, VW is only selling about 30,000. That's including what's being sold in America. So of course, VW comes out with some flowery language to explain what's going on. According to a quote by them, the pause will allow VW to flexibly adapt production processes to changed market conditions. Well, those changed market conditions is that your product's not selling because what you have is an expensive vehicle with a cheap interior and short range. It's got about 234 miles of range. And the problem goes back to when VW was designing the bus. They were moving all electric. Governments in Europe were pushing to an all electric future. VW was designing electric vehicles, and they needed a minivan entry. And the way to do that, to make it more successful, is to go back in your heritage. Think about, well, the new Beetle when they came out with it. And they built this thing as an EV only. EVs need efficiency. They need aerodynamics to be super, super efficient, not a box on top of a battery. So it is not inefficient. It does not have a good range, and batteries are expensive. They took some of these costs out of the interior. Many, many reports out there about the flimsiness or the cheapness of the interior, and you end up with a product that is just out of step with current market traditions, current market standards of not really being all in on EVs, certainly here in America. And also you're selling a minivan that is, in some cases, twice as much as its competitor. You want to know why the Buzz is failing? Well, it's not the cool looks, it's not the heritage, it's not the nostalgia for it. That's its one really strong selling point. The problem is that the VW Buzz starts at over $61,000. That is the base level. You want to know why it's failing? I got one thing to show you. It's the Toyota Sienna. The top of the line Toyota Sienna starts $5,000 less than a base id.buzz. You can get a lot more for your money with the Toyota. Now, does it have that cool factor? Does it have the nostalgia? No, of course it doesn't. But the biggest flaw here is the price. Bring that price down, and suddenly this thing has a little bit more of an appeal. The real flaw with this product actually goes back to when they envisioned it. They didn't make it a flexible architecture. They went all in on EV for this thing, a modern interpretation of nostalgia. But if they designed it where it could have been a petrol, a diesel, or a hybrid vehicle as well, suddenly you open up the price range and you open up a lot of opportunity for people to love this vehicle. There's only so many hippies from the 60s or the 70s who want another minivan, who want an electric vehicle, all right? And if you're trying to sell a vehicle as a camping alternative, as a road trip alternative, that what the bus became famous for, of people being able to afford them, piling into them and driving somewhere to go surfing or fishing or whatever happens to be, suddenly you're limited by 234 miles of range. It's not a strong selling point, especially when you're $20,000 over the average price of a car. And not quite that much. So what's the solution here? Well, unfortunately, I think that if VW is losing as much as I think they must be on every single unit, it's to stop the bleeding. 30,000 units globally, I'm sure they're not getting back their investment in this thing. I have heard reports, although I've not been able to go out and verify it, that there are dealerships around the nation that are offering something like $20,000 off the price of a Buzz because they just have so many and they've just been sitting around for so long. I took a spot check over at my nearby dealership and they have about 7 of them on the lot and they're offering, $5,000-ish off. Not an extreme amount, 10%. Okay, that's a lot in this marketplace, but not enough to make it competitive. So I'm kind of sad. I wish that this had more flexibility. I wish there was a hybrid option. I wish there was just a V6 option, for example, something that brought this down to be a competitive price with the Odysseys and the Siennas and the Grand Caravans that are out there, or the Pacificas that are out there, the Kia Carnival that's out there. And the worst part of this is they've got a product that's expensive and low range, and you have automakers like Kia who are coming out with a competitive product in the future that promises to be less expensive and with more range. VW's in a bad situation with the Buzz. So this pause might be just to rethink everything and stop the hemorrhaging for a minute while units sit on the dealer's lots. But it's hard to believe this factory is not going to be retooled for something else, and the Buzz will, quietly buzz off. It'll be a shame for it not to come back, though, because it's a super cool vehicle. Just ill-conceived from the beginning, it seems. Be fun to watch how this one plays out, and I'll let you know any updates I hear. Thanks for being here, y'all. Appreciate you spending a few minutes with me.